So it's official. Donald Trump wants to tax crypto holders 0% on capital gains for Bitcoin, XRP, pretty much all cryptocurrencies that have a company originating in the United States. Now, we know that Ripple is one of those companies, and we have some big news that just dropped over the past few hours that pushed XRP upwards of 78 cents. I think it broke 80 cents, up 41% over the past week. And the entire market has been doing very, very well. But is this rally over? Are we going to continue to the upside? We're going to look at the Bitcoin to the US dollar price chart with Bitcoin sitting at $87,000 comparing back to the past. We're also going to be talking about what's happening with 18 US states filing a lawsuit against the SEC and its commissioners, accusing them of unconstitutional overreach and unfair persecution of the crypto industry under the leadership of Gary Gensler. What this means for the Ripple vs. SEC lawsuit, the potential of them settling or even dropping the case entirely. Brad Garlinghouse at an annual crypto conference today saying that the US is ready to be the crypto capital of the world with the next Trump administration. Also, he's wearing a shirt that says F the SEC, absolute legend move right there. And we're going to dive into more in this video about what's happening with Gary Gensler and this notice that just came out from the US Securities and Exchange Commission that we need to pay attention to. This is one of the biggest updates in history that is going to directly affect your portfolio if you hold XRP. We're also talking about XRP, the US dollar price chart, going back to the past and what happened when a breakout took place of this descending resistance and where we are right now, on top of the total altcoin market and what to expect going into Inauguration Day, January 20th, so you can prepare yourself for the next major move in the market to make the most amount of money possible. So if you're feeling bullish, comment 777. And if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree, confirm it by tapping the subscribe button. Let's run it. Hey, bull runners, check this out. If you want to learn how to find the next 10x, 50x, or even 100x altcoin in this video, listen to this. Our research team posted GOAT on the 13th of October of 2024 when it was right at a penny, and since then it rallied to over $1 and is currently still up over 5,000%. That's like turning $1,000 into over $50,000. Our team called Pendle at only a $16 million market cap, or 16 cents, back on February 18th of 2023, all the way back here, and since then it's rallied up over 4,000%. That's a 40x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $40,000. Our team also called BitTensor Tau September 15th, 2022, before the token was ever even launched. And since then, Tau has rallied over 2,000%. That's a 20x. Our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th, 2022, on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8. And since then, Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. And the bull run is just getting started. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called Sui, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University through the link below. And although we make no guarantees because crypto is definitely risky, guys, this is only $97 a month or $970 a year. If you want to save $194, getting 2 months for free and unlock some exclusive bonuses through the link below. But I'm not going to talk all about that in this video because we have a lot to cover. Just go through the link in the description below, get in right now, watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers, because we have a lot to cover with you over the next few minutes in this video to help you become the first millionaire in your family tree. If that's a goal of yours, our goal is to help 1,000 members set their portfolio up for life this month. And you can get started through the link in the description below right now, or you can go to bullrunners.com, to take advantage of the bonuses we're giving you before they expire. We have about 200 members right now, and we literally just launched like less than 5 days ago at the time of making this video. Everyone is loving the community. They're loving the education. They're getting access to real-time altcoin picks first before we ever make videos about them. So click the link in the description below, watch the video, and I'll see you on the inside. So let's dive right in and let's talk about the Bitcoin price chart, and let's compare it back to the past, and let's also bring up the relative strength index on the daily chart. So we broke out of this long, boring consolidation period that Bitcoin was in since the 13th of March, and it broke out from this descending resistance right here on the right-hand side of the screen. We saw it come back and back test it, bounce up again, and then inevitably massive green candle came in, and the price shot all the way upwards of $90,000. Ultimately after the news of Trump going in office, and now they're on a brigade or a stampede to usher in their Department of Government Efficiency, basically get rid of what he planned on doing, which was the swamp, draining the swamp. And so now the most bullish news is coming out in the crypto market that is propelling this market up. But are we a little overheated right now? Let's look at the indicators and let's talk about what happened back from July of 2023 until that breakout took place in October, when we saw something pretty similar take place on the chart on the daily candles. We saw this breakout happen very, very fast. And a lot of people, they kind of had PTSD, right? They were like, oh no, this can't last. It has to come back down, because they were so used to this. And I was in the market during this time. A lot of you guys were in the markets during this time from March all the way to October. So that's March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. That's 8 months. 8 months. That was frustrating. Now, how long were we in this consolidation period? For 230 days. That's just as frustrating. So don't blame somebody for having PTSD thinking that they should sell out now, but we just need to look at the facts, and we need to see how much higher could Bitcoin go into Inauguration Day and just what to expect, the most likely case scenario. So on the bottom of the screen on the left-hand side, you can see what happened to the RSI down here on the 18th of August of 2023, when the market sold off very fast from $30,000 all the way to $25,000. And Bitcoin just stayed down within these levels below 30K for a while. The RSI, Relative Strength Index, bottomed out below 20, and it started a reversal from there. While the price tried to break out, the RSI started to break out as well too in this bullish channel, coming all the way up here until inevitably it deviated off of this support that it was bouncing at while it was making a recovery. And then we just saw a break of the previous high and the price to go into price discovery at $34,000. Now, what happened to the RSI on that breakout is it breached all the way upwards of 87. It got overvalued there. Now, just because we breached above 80 doesn't mean that the price is just going to, come back down like this. The RSI is a relative strength index. It's a momentum indicator. So this is actually a good sign, because on the right-hand side of the screen, what we saw happen was pretty similar. When the price crashed from $70,000 all the way down here for the low of like $50,000 was similar to the crash that took place back here, where the RSI bottomed out below 20. We saw the RSI come below 20 on the right-hand side of the screen and start a bullish recovery in this channel, where we see, the RSI come up, form a support, come up off the resistance, form a support, and just continuously trend higher until a breakout takes place, and then it, boom, deviates off of the support and forms a new high above a resistance. So same thing over here. We see this resistance on the RSI, and it breaches above it into price discovery, with the price breaking out all the way up here. And so in my opinion, that's roughly where we are right now on the left-hand side of the screen. And it's not just going to be straight up forever. We're going to chop. So sure, Bitcoin's price could come back down a little bit further. Maybe it comes back down to 74, 75K, back tests it, and then we just see some choppy ranging within here. Or it's more of a tight chop where it doesn't fluctuate too much. We just see the price bounce between like $88,000 and $90,000, more similar to this, while it just marches up. We want to be watching the relative strength index, because what happened when the RSI by October, the end of October of 2023, reached above 87, we saw lower highs being formed. And then we saw the RSI form a downtrend like this, where it started to form lower highs and lower lows all the way back down to 37, while the price started to march up. So what this is called a bearish divergence, where we see lower highs on the relative strength index. And if I were to just clear the chart so you can see what I'm seeing here on the left-hand side of the screen, we see higher highs on the price chart and lower highs on the relative strength index. This signals that, momentum is in the bull's favor right now, but eventually there's a liquidation event that needs to take place. Now, coincidentally enough, this liquidation event had to do with the SEC and the ETF approval news, where they said it was approved and then the price spiked up to 48K, and then they said it wasn't approved, spiked all the way down. We saw this flash crash right here for the relative strength index, and then we saw a massive reversal back to the upside for another breakout. So if we see something similar happen on the right-hand side of the screen, I'm not saying that it will, but we see some similarities compared to what happened back here on this breakout, well, the relative strength index breached all the way above 84. So what I would expect to take place is for the RSI to come down a little bit. Maybe the RSI comes back down below 70 while the price takes a little bit of a cool-off period and consolidates sideways, maybe chops, sideways, or continuously chops and trends higher while the relative strength index and the momentum slows down. If we're forming higher highs and higher lows on the price chart, I get it, it's kind of sloppy with these handwritings, so I have to redraw it. But if we're forming higher highs on the price chart and higher lows, and we just do something like this going into December and just consolidate up within this range right here below $100,000, the next major resistance is going to be 100K, because that's the biggest psychological resistance right now for Bitcoin. If we can breach above 100K and see a massive rally like what happened right here, then the relative strength index would more than likely become so overheated on the daily that it would get upwards of like 88, 90, potentially 95, maybe even up to 100, we would see. So I would expect just the price to cool off for a little bit, okay, for the next week or two. Now, if we just keep charging higher and higher and higher, then I would err on the side of caution on entering in, because then I would expect, maybe like a steeper correction similar to what happened back here between, the 9th of January until the 26th of January. But hang tight towards the end of this video. I'm going to share some opportunities with you guys that could make you even more money than accumulating Bitcoin right now, because the next leg up for Bitcoin past $120,000 leading into inauguration day on the macro. On the micro, it's not necessarily what happens on a day-to-day basis. It's what happens before the bull run is over and how long to stay in the markets before you exit as we pay attention to what's taking place. Because 18 US states filed to sue the SEC. The lawsuit was signed by 18 Republican attorneys detailing how the agency has committed gross government overreach with its regulation by enforcement crusade against the $3 trillion industry, resulting in an infringement upon states' rights to regulate the economies. So virtually everybody is pissed off with the SEC because of Gary Gensler. He has just been roasted testifying before Congress before. You guys have seen those videos. And what does this have to do with Ripple? Well, according to NYDIG, the SEC may drop the case entirely on their attack on Ripple, with the recent election bringing shift in leadership and regulatory perspectives at the SEC. With these lawsuits against Ripple Labs, Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, Cumberland, a post-election leadership change may usher in a more accommodating regulatory philosophy. You see who Donald Trump has just been appointing, with Vivek Ramaswamy, you got Elon Musk, the Department of Government Efficiency, as hilarious as that is. The real deal situation is Donald Trump firing Gary Gensler. So this could lead to the SEC seeking settlements with these companies, Gary Gensler stepping down, allowing them to operate within a certified regulatory framework, or in some cases dropping these lawsuits entirely. So we're about to see a massive shift take place in the United States. In the spotlight that has been on Ripple for this lawsuit that has driven out investors to buy into other projects is going to bring the spotlight back onto Ripple to bring investors back in. And that's why in my other video I talked about Robinhood listing XRP, preparing for this, because they know that there's going to be a leadership change at the SEC. The Securities and Exchange Commission posted this saying, "I've been proud to serve with my colleagues at the SEC day in and day out, working to protect American families on the highway of finance," which is hilarious. It's just the most ironic thing ever. It's like looking at Gary Gensler give a speech, and then his little name tag there says Honorable Gary Gensler. But in this update, he's saying, "Before I close, I want to say something about the SEC and its staff. It's a remarkable agency. The staff and commission are deeply mission-driven, focused on protecting investors, maintaining fair, orderly, and efficient markets, and facilitating capital formation." So just bunch of BS already. The lawyers, accountants, economists, policy experts, and other staff generally could make more money working somewhere else. Highly doubted. They choose, though, to work on behalf of the public here at the SEC. It's been a great honor to serve with them, doing the people's work and ensuring that our capital markets remain the best in the world. So the key here is it's been a great honor to serve with them. that is insinuating that he's going to be done serving with them. And then he gives a conclusion saying, Sam and Jane Gensler, my mom and dad, why is he sourcing his mom and dad here? Never worked in finance or even completed college. When they invested their savings, our family benefited from the securities markets. Common sense rule the road. The SEC's effective administration of well-regulated securities markets promotes trust. It's what brings investors and issuers to the market like fans to a football game. It's what underpins the world's largest capital markets. It's what has contributed to our nation's great economic success the last 90 years. I've been proud to serve with my colleagues at the SEC who day in, day out work to protect American families on the highway of finance. This guy is gone. He's already preparing to leave right here. This is pretty much his resignation letter, and this is why XRP is breaking out. Now, will this breakout last? XRP rallied over 80 cents, and immediately it's getting shoved back down. It's at 76 cents right now. So let's look at the chart and let's talk about this, because the relative strength index is at 84 on the daily chart. This is very similar to what we saw happen last bull market when we saw this breakout for XRP. XRP rallied up from 20 cents all the way to 33 cents. And it broke this descending resistance right here that had been rejected at multiple times. You know, you can see all the way back from the 30th of April, 2018. We see this wick off of September. We see it get rejected right here in July of 2019, rejected right here on that rally of February of 2020. And then it finally broke above it. So this is a great sign of not only momentum coming back into the market, but momentum coming into XRP. So it got rejected in the past from this resistance. It didn't form a higher high. For a trend reversal, we want to see a higher high get it put in by a series of higher lows. And so when it was rejected from this horizontal resistance, it came all the way back down to back test the descending resistance as support, and it held it as support. So this was a great sign. And this basically is a launch pad for the next move up in the market if it can hold support. And that's exactly what happened to XRP. It went from 20 cents all the way upwards of 80 cents. You know, 20, 40, 60, 80. I know I have to count on my fingers sometimes. I'm not that quick at math, okay? That's a 4x really, really quick. And then the lawsuit hit, suppressed it. You know, we've talked about that a million times. But let's look at where we are right now, and let's move this vertical line right here so we can see this. We see this descending resistance right here, getting rejected from it all through the bear market, even post lawsuit decision that XRP is not a security, right here, right here, right here. And now finally XRP, boom, breached above it. It also cleared the previous resistance right here. Now it needs to clear this resistance right here and hold it as support for a trend reversal. Otherwise, what I would expect to happen for XRP is if Bitcoin pulls back a little bit or Bitcoin cools off sideways, then I would expect XRP to cool off for a little bit and to pull back down potentially to back test, 60 something cents as support and to hang out around here going into Christmas time. And this would be very similar to what we saw happen all the way back here, the launch pad for XRP and the last stop to accumulate before the next major breakout takes place. Now, unless the market melts down and unless there's a black swan event that, has everything sell off larger, XRP is gearing up, guys. XRP is getting ready to move. Look at the base that this thing has been forming for the past few years. Look at the suppression that has taken place from this lawsuit. Look at the change of guard and leadership shift that's happening. Look at what's taking place on the crypto total market cap, excluding, Bitcoin, the total too. When we talk about Wyckoff accumulation right here, look at what happened in the past when we saw this pullback that took place from the 2nd of September, 2020 down here to the 5th of September. And then we started to work our way on out of here. This looks, in my opinion, again, I'm not the best technical analysis guy in the world. I'm more of a macro investor. But for those of you that are technical analysis pros, you guys can see the Wyckoff accumulation schematic on this, where we go through phase A, which is the breakdown. You can see right here, phase B, where the price bounces from that low, inevitably gets rejected, comes back down to back test the previous low, just like it did right here on the left-hand side of the screen. If I move the chart for you, you can see that all right through here. And then we see it come back up again, kind of trade sideways, not really do anything. It's just like what happened right here. Come back up, back test the previous zone as resistance, back test the previous zone as resistance. Whether it's an equal high or a lower high, it's pretty much the exact same as the Wyckoff schematic right here. And then we just kind of waddle sideways for a little bit. That's kind of what happens all through this period right here, waddling sideways. One final crash during phase C. So pretty much this crash right here, phase C, and then we see the breakout during phase E. So we see the breakout during phase E. Now the breakout that takes place, it cools off for a little bit and it sees some volatility, and we just see it forming higher highs and higher lows. So in my opinion, where we are is we're right here. It's almost identical. Sure, the time frame is longer on the right, but we can see the crash down here for phase A right here. We see the crash down here for phase A. We see it bounce back up to back test the previous, support as resistance, to back test the previous supports as resistance right here. Boom, checks it off. That's that high right here. We see another crash back down to back test the previous low. We see another crash back down to back test the previous low. And then we just work our way through here, holding support, work our way through here, holding support, in between a resistance and a support, in between a resistance and a support. And then boom, we break out. Boom, we break out. And then phase E, we just kind of consolidate for a little bit, right? Actually, that's phase D. My bad. Phase D. Phase E is really this phase right here. That's the next major breakout. So phase E for altcoins, even with Bitcoin breaking out, we're not even past the high of March, whereas Bitcoin's in price discovery. So this is the perfect storm of opportunity right here. So let me just clear all the drawings again, and let's compare it to the past. And then let's also look at the relative strength index on what we're looking at right now, because we saw the RSI come upwards of 80. Now it's pulling back right here, back within this range that it was consolidating within as we were forming higher highs and higher lows on the daily candle right here. You can see the RSI bottoming out, higher highs, higher lows. We just breached above, the resistance to form a higher high. And so ultimately, regardless of whatever happens with the relative strength index, on the left-hand side of the screen, we saw what happened when the RSI breached above 70 and it came all the way upwards of 80 right here. That was on this initial breakout. And even though the price, did some crazy fluctuations through this, we saw some sell-offs right here of like 20% within this range, and it lasted about 40 days. Let's say, for example, that's what happens up here, and we just fluctuate and we just consolidate right here within this range, doing stuff like this before having the next major move to the upside. That's what I would expect. Just more volatility right here as we either go sideways or we form higher highs and higher lows right at this previous resistance right here until finally we blast through it. Once we blast through it, the next move to the upside is going to be rapid for the altcoin market. And it's really to the all-time high of like $1.7 trillion. That's the next stop for the market. Once we hit that, maybe we consolidate at that for a little bit. And then going into 2025, we see this bigger cool-off period happen right here before we see a parabolic blow off top into price discovery. Maybe this is what takes place, and we're just in the early phase of that. Breakout right at phase D before phase E, where we break the previous high, which is from the 14th of March. Either way, when I trace the chart up back from the end of 2020 to where we are today, it looks something like this. So I think we're just going to keep marching up. So we're going to see some days in the red. Like if you go to coin market cap or crypto bubbles, like some days we're going to be down 1%, 5%. Like look at this, Dogecoin's back down 5%. It's to 36 cents. So people think this rally's over. And then maybe 2 days from right now, it's back up to 40 cents. Then it's back down to 35. Then it's at 42. And we're just going to fluctuate 5 to 20% on a lot of these projects. So don't let that scare you out of the market. That's just the best time to figure out what projects to accumulate. So while the altcoin market cools off for a little bit, the best thing that you could do is the right business opportunities that are going to make you the most amount of money before the bull run is over, so you can accumulate more crypto. Because if Donald Trump's policy is implemented to basically have a 0% capital gains tax on Bitcoin and crypto, and you accumulate as much as possible and you ride this bull run, and let's say this passes, right? It hasn't passed yet, but it's been confirmed that he's proposing this. It's going to mark the dawn of a crypto golden age. And that's why we've been sharing the best opportunities with you guys to be able to make the most amount of money possible. For example, this one right here through the link in the description below is to help business owners get money back from a lawsuit, one of the largest lawsuits in history that Visa and MasterCard lost for over $5 billion. We've helped over 347 businesses so far over the past month that have processed over $218 million in credit card volume get qualified to receive back $3.7 million. So if you guys want to learn more about this and how you could take advantage of this, whether you have a business or you don't, listen to this.
Hey bull runners, this is super time sensitive, especially if you're looking to stack more crypto before the bull run is over. Did you know that Visa and MasterCard lost a $5.5 billion class action lawsuit for imposing unfair fees on merchants and business owners. So if you own a business, or if you know any business owners that process payments with Visa or MasterCard between 2004 and 2019, that's 15 years, you could actually be owed a refund of 1 to 1.5% of your total revenue from that period. That's a lot of money. For example, this business that generated 1.6 million in credit card revenue during those years is getting back $28,000. This business that generated over 7 million is getting back $93,000. And this business that generated over $20 million during those years is getting back over $320,000. That's money they didn't even know was on the table. And all they did was fill out a form through the link below this video. It literally takes less than a minute to see if you qualify, but you don't want to wait too long because the deadline to file is February 4th, 2025. So the sooner that you fill out the form below, the sooner that you can reclaim what's rightfully yours. Plus, if you don't have a business, you can actually earn 3% by referring businesses that do qualify by creating your affiliate account through the link below. So this is a no-brainer way to get money back in your pocket to use for your business, or if you want to use it for crypto or other assets to invest in, you can do that. So click the link below. Let's get you paid.
All right, Bull Runner. So I appreciate you for watching this video. Again, guys, if you want to plug in with our crypto education platform, check that out below. We have 212 members right now. We're shooting for 1,000 members by the end of the month. And together, I think we can do it. As we back up our truck, let's all get in the truck, all the way to the bank, grab the bags, pack them and stack them, leave no bags left behind, because we believe the spending power of the dollar is just going to keep going down in value. That's a fact based on inflation. Blockchain tech, distributed ledger technology, cryptocurrencies have been going up in value over time. That's the truth. And together, we're all running to the top. I'll see you on the next video. I will see you on bullrunners.com. As always, you know what to do. Stay bullish.